Most residents across this great country don't realize that there's almost 600,000 United States citizens can't vote for a congressperson or for 2 senators.
We believe that the ideals of one person, one vote, no taxation without representation, that all of these are rights being denied fellow Americans.
We are here in the nation's capital, a district of 700,000 people who have been denied these principles just as those delegates were 250 years ago.
Look at the Declaration of Independence and the promise of freedom and prosperity for all Americans. We remain a blight in that promise.
The reasons DC is upset and the people of DC and the 700,000 people who live here are upset are the exact reasons that people in the American Revolution and the colonies decided to revolt.
If a person in another state or another city in a state has more local rights and more national rights than Washingtonians do.
Learning about what this country stood for and what it's historically been, and then walking by the Capitol and knowing that like those are the people who are keeping the people on this side of the street from being able to really experience the full life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that was promised, it's just a really jarring and saddening experience.
DC residents are congressionally disenfranchised and have been since the dawn of the nation. They've had a mayor and city council since 1973, but even that has its limitations.
We're able to pass laws here in the district through the DC Council. We're able to function like a true state government. But what is a challenge for the mayor that all mayors of the district have to deal with is that Congress can overturn our laws, they can block how we spend money with our locally raised revenues, and that's because we lack that full access to democracy through statehood. There's so many ways that we're reminded of that daily.
We have no access to Article 1 of the Constitution. So we don't have a congressperson, we don't have senators.
We have a delegate, but she does not have a vote. They put riders on our budget that blocks how we are able to spend our locally raised dollars. We, for a very long time, had a rider on needle exchange programs, which led to AIDS epidemic here in the district. This administration, I think what has been different too is the targeted threat of withholding federal funding. So the attacks on our home rule and on our autonomy are heightened more so than ever before. National Guard activation, we don't think that they should be here. We don't control our National Guard like other governors. That's controlled by the President and Department of Defense. ICE and HSI, that has not been helpful. That undermines trust with immigrant communities and MPD.
Go to a House Oversight Committee hearing on DC, and it's horrible to watch.
It's not lost on us that this is also a voting rights issue. We don't have full representation. We don't have full voting rights.
Multiple solutions have been proposed to allow for voting representation in DC, but the most popular has been the proposition of H.R. 51.
So H.R. 51 was, instead of just DC being the land that we see now, cutting out the wards and the places where the actual citizens live, and making that the state.
The Constitution says there should be a national capital of no more than 10 by 10 miles, but it doesn't say the minimum size.
It's particularly going back to the Declaration of Independence of the consent of the governed and like what the people want. And the people have spoken several times over the history that they want DC statehood.
DC is a monopoly Democratic jurisdiction, and there has never been a Republican elected to the council from a ward.
There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and so I think that there's a lot of fear-mongering about, and there's 2 more Democratic senators.
And they're going to push through 51st statehood, and they're going to make Puerto Rico the 52nd state, and they're going to make Guam the 53rd state, and they're basically going to take over the Senate even more by adding 6 Democratic senators.
They're consciously or unconsciously putting partisan group above the sort of basic principle of self-government.
If we didn't decide to have representation and have, senators based on party preference, it was not about, we shouldn't let them in because maybe they'll have 2 Republican senators, or we did it on representation.
I think it's become an easy talking point for people who don't want to see DC become a state. But I think if you boil it down and don't get lost in that, I think it's not. It's American. It's like if we're going into our bicentennial, we should be proud of everything we have, and we're the only nation's capital in the entire democratic world that doesn't have representation.
We will continue to fight for DC statehood to be the promise of this country. We need to have full representation for the district. I'm the son of a Marine. My dad went to Vietnam and fought for his country, and that's why he got involved in politics when we moved back. was because he fought for the promise of America, for the ideals of America. And that's something that we send our veterans off to go fight. Some of them die, some of them come back, and we've fought in multiple wars, and they never ever their entire lives have a vote in the Congress. That is the promise of America that hasn't been fully fulfilled yet.
So we must ask ourselves, if America is founded on the idea of no taxation without representation, what does it mean when the nation's capital itself lacks representation?